Hi everyone, this is Brandon's dad, and you're watching True School Sports.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game has been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, my webcam is not working at the moment. There is no audio on in it for some reason, so I'm using my phone to shoot this video, and just bear with me. I'm going to be pacing back and forth in my apartment, so you might get dizzy if you watch the background and you watch me long enough. But I wanted to talk about something interesting that's happening in boxing right now with Lorenzo Truck Simpson. Yes, that Lorenzo Truck Simpson, 7-0 or 8-0 with 5 KOs. Lorenzo Simpson, he's called out Cassius Clay Collard. A prospect has called out the prospect killer. So I'm gonna go sit down. I'm gonna read you guys his tweet, okay? Because Lorenzo Simpson's talking a good game right now. So here's what Lorenzo Simpson said verbatim. I put it in the beginning of the video, but I'll read it to you guys right here. It said, "I'll fight Clay Collard, and we can see if that prospect killer shit lives on." So hey, I love the energy from Lorenzo Truck Simpson. I love the ambition from Lorenzo Truck Simpson, because this is a guy, Lorenzo Simpson. If any of you know anything about Lorenzo Truck Simpson, he was, I could remember as far back as 2016. Before he even turned pro, when he was still an amateur, he was getting a lot of hype in the boxing industry, in the boxing community, because he was a blue chip amateur. When we talk about Lorenzo Truck Simpson, we're talking about a fighter who was, he had well over 140 amateur wins. He had about 12 or 13 national championships as a fighter. He was pegged to be, and still is, pegged to be one of the fighters that you would consider, the future of boxing here in this country, coming out of that Baltimore area. I had a chance to watch Lorenzo in his last fight, which was on the Danny Garcia Ivan Redkach undercard, and he fought a guy, I think his name was Marco Antonio Hernandez or something like that. The guy was he had 2 wins, 11 losses, and I think he had 2 or 3 draws, and he had been stopped 3 times. So it was a fight where Lorenzo Simpson had to really show his level and his maturity and make a statement that night against a guy that was made to order for him. He was there for Lorenzo Simpson to look like $20 million against. And I must say, I was very underwhelmed with this performance. I didn't think it was too impressive. And that performance against Mr. Marco Antonio Hernandez, I think that was his name, the journeyman, that performance really, it lowered my view of Lorenzo. I don't think he's a bad fighter. I don't think he's trash or anything. I understand he's a young fighter. He's going to grow. He's going to mature. I expect him to get better and show a different side of him, a different level of him, because I know that the guy that he was in that fight isn't who he normally is, and I know that he's going to improve over time, and I wish him nothing but success. But I love this energy. I love this energy from Lorenzo Truck Simpson, because this is what we need in boxing. We need these prospects. We need these young fighters who had all the clout in the amateurs, showing some ambition in their careers. We need them to take the training wheels off, because if a prospect doesn't take those training wheels off at a certain point, then they get to, they go, all of a sudden you blink your eyes 1, 2, 3 times, and they came into boxing as a 20-year-old, 19-year-old, 18-year-old prospect, and all of a sudden they're 26 years old and they haven't fought nobody. You want to be in a witness protection program, like many fighters that I've called out on True School Sports. We won't say any names, but I love this fight. I love this fight because I think even for Clay Collard, if they were to ever make this fight happen with Lorenzo Truck Simpson, this is a fight where Clay Collard is going to be fighting a prospect who's undefeated, yes, but a prospect who has much more of that blue chip amateur foundation. Lorenzo Truck Simpson, it was a nationally ranked, nationally known, top level amateur. Every promoter in boxing wanted him when he turned pro. He was one of those type of guys. So, Lorenzo Simpson, Clay Collard, a good fight. If Clay could beat him, I think that'd be a good statement for his career. It'd be another undefeated prospect he's beating, and I would say Lorenzo Simpson's the most talented of the prospects he's beaten as a professional fighter so far. And then for Lorenzo Simpson, we want to see if he's really as good as he says he is, and clearly, judging by that tweet, he believes he's as good as he says he is because he's calling out Clay Collard. Ain't that crazy what's happening to Clay Collard? You know, Clay Collard, before February, most people in boxing didn't even know who he was. Very few people, myself included, knew who he was. But now, you got the undefeated, you know, prospects with the blue chip amateur pedigrees calling you out. So as the rap song says, you know, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. I'm standing at a table full of models. All right, I'm gonna stop for you guys. I won't show you too much, but you get the point, man. He's come a long way in his career. He's got Lorenzo Truck Simpson calling him out, and I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think this fight's gonna happen, but it's interesting to talk about, you know, because I think Top Rank is gonna actually take my advice that I gave a few videos ago, and I think Top Rank Boxing will put tangible resources behind Cassius Clay Collard and try to build him as a fighter. And I don't think, and this is my humble opinion, I don't have any inside information on this. This is just from the outside looking in. I don't think Clay Collard is that far away from being formally signed to Top Rank. I think he's maybe a one more performance away from probably getting a contract with Top Rank, and for them to actually formally announce that they're going to build him as a fighter. And I think he's earned it. He's earned it. But if that doesn't happen, and he wants to continue exploring his options and fighting top competition, because Clay Collard, if one thing we know about Clay Collard, he's proven himself to be a true fighter. I wouldn't mind them exploring this fight because, you know, Clay's been on a PBC card before. I believe Truck is under the Al Haymon banner of fighters. So I would love to see Truck Simpson tested against someone that has been taking everybody's O. I mean, he's taken more O's than Dr. Dre's wife who just divorced him. I mean, this guy has been taking so many zeros of fighters in boxing, and he's doing his thing. And I love the energy. Like I tweeted to Lorenzo Simpson, I said I love the energy, I love the ambition, I love the fact that he's a 8-0 prospect who, yes, he has some clout, he has some fetty in the boxing game, but he's willing to put it on the line and test himself, you know? And that's how it's got to be in boxing, you know? Like my main man, 50 grand, David Flash Sparks says, you know, all call-outs is mandatory. You know all call-outs is mandatory. You got to be willing to fight top fighters, guys that are going to give you a test, guys that are going to give you a tough fight. And I think that this fight right here, it'd be a good matchup, you know? It'd be a good matchup for Lorenzo Simpson. Definitely be a good matchup for Clay Collard. And it's one that I would definitely, if you know, Top Rank doesn't formally sign him and Clay Collard still has that room to maneuver in, you know, they offer him this fight and he takes it. You know, this is a fight that if it gets made on a PBC card, it's one that I'll definitely be watching with a lot of intrigue and a lot of hype because, you know, we're talking about two different people. We're talking about one guy who came from MMA and was going to be used as a stepping stone to greener pastures for these young prospects, and we have a young prospect who had the blue chip amateur pedigree, the background, you know, the everything pegged to be the next, you know, guy, one of the next guys that's going to be competing for world titles in boxing. Two fighters from two completely different ends of the spectrum. It'd be a great fight. So yeah, if they look into it, I'll definitely be checking it out. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Cassius Clay Collard getting called out by Lorenzo Truck Simpson. Let me know what you guys think of this matchup in the comments down below. Make sure you take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.
This is Chick Shane Mosley, and you're watching True School Sports.
All right.